if I could see me on Zoom.
It's gonna come up in a minute.
Okay, so I can
It's usually about 20 seconds behind.
Okay. Hi, welcome. I'm just gonna keep saying it because we don't know when we're Zoom, Facebook here. So welcome everybody. Hope you're having a lovely afternoon. Yes, we just had a program with Celestina, but we're having technical difficulties, so we've decided to go back on here again. So if you were tuning in before, please join in again. Leave comments on how you're finding parenting during this lockdown. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Can you hear me, everyone? If you can hear me, let me know. Yeah, I think we are live. Or is it the old one? No, we're not live yet. No.
We're live.
Where's her page? Where's your page?
I've tagged you in, so it should be on your page.
Okay.
But we're live. I can see it.
Okay. No, I can't see mine. I can't see mine yet. Okay. All right, I can see you now.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just usually about 20 seconds behind, but yeah, we're live.
Okay, everyone, we are live. Thank you for tuning in. Please join in, leave a comment about parenting, how you're finding parenting during this lockdown.
I can't see you though.
Yeah, I can't see myself on
your background.
Yeah, I can't see myself.
There we are.
Okay. It's because we came off the app so we can see everybody. Hi, sis. Sorry about all the problems we've had today. It was going fine. We were doing well, but it just, people are commenting that they couldn't hear us, so we have to do it so they can hear us.
Absolutely, because that will be a waste of time.
Yeah, it would be a waste of time, so we have to do it properly. I mean, we're on lockdown, but, we're going to be useful during this lockdown.
Yeah, sorry. It's recording now.
Yay, thank you. So, hello and welcome everyone to the program. This is Vivianne's podcast on Elim Radio, Anchor and Clubhouse. We just managed Clubhouse in a minute. We'll go back there in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, but at least we did something on Clubhouse, so we're grateful. This show aims to empower you spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. My guest today is Celestina Thomas. She's a CEO, psychotherapist, and a parent coach. She's the author of Art of Disciplining with Love. Welcome to the show, sis, once again. And please introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Hey, I'm Celestina, CEO and psychotherapist at Floating Counseling. Is that my background?
You're fine. Yeah.
So I'm Celestina, CEO and psychotherapist at Floating Counseling, Celestina Oniye-Thomas. I'm a psychotherapist for over 15 years. I'm also now a parent coach. And the parent coach part just kind of got birthed from my passion for helping parents as effectively as they possibly can.
So how is this lockdown affecting us as parents in your view?
Yeah, I think it's affecting us as parents in such a different way. Because everyone is different and every child will be different. So how it's going to affect the child is going to be different. How it's going to affect you as the parent is going to be different as well. So managing that as a parent, managing your child's emotions, the dynamic, the temperament, and managing yours, sometimes it can be quite, it can create quite a confusion and quite a dynamic of itself. So I think a lot of things that is coming up due to lockdown is already kind of been there on the surface.
Yes.
But now it's kind of been birthed, so it's like it's already kind of been there, but now it's like out in the open. Like lockdown has triggered it to be more magnified, if that's even the word I can use. So I think whatever the issue is now is just been more magnified, because before you could go to work, your child could go to school, they come back in the evening or late in the afternoon, you've got a few hours and then sleep and then start again the next day. But now you're stuck at home 24 hours a day, can't really go out. It's against the law to go out unless you have to go out. So lockdown is just, you're just stuck, and humans don't necessarily like being stuck. We don't like being enslaved. We don't like being told what to do. So all of this dynamic is just a lot for anyone, talk less of parents who have to manage themselves and manage their own children as well. So it's just been a lot.
So how can we parent effectively during this lockdown?
I think parenting effectively as much as we can. It's just about us as parents knowing what our triggers are, knowing and respecting the fact that we are different from our child. And sometimes, we as parents, we want our children to be like us, to be like society says is acceptable. And we just have to remember that, our children was born to be unique. We as parents, we are born to be unique. So to expect our children to be like us, have the same temperament, characteristics, behaviors as us is unrealistic. So to parent as effectively as possible is just about knowing and respecting that you're different and your child is going to be different from you, and respecting that, and just trying to understand your child's temperament. And understand the triggers, because the children, they will trigger us as parents, and vice versa. So just understanding and trying to manage that trigger as effectively as possible is really important.
So good. How can we nurture our children's gift during this lockdown?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nurturing our children's gift, definitely. Again, it's quite similar to the one before, where it's like you have to understand that your child is different from you. The temperament is different from you. The behavior and characteristics, the likes and dislikes is so different from you. So just nurturing your child is just about respecting that differences, understanding that with differences, and actually being aware of that difference sometimes, because sometimes we might not be aware of it, but just expect our children to be a certain way. So being aware is so important. I mean, in my book, I mentioned how, when growing up, and before we got cut off, I mentioned this as well. But when growing up, the way that my dad used to nurture our differences, it was, I can now look back. I mean, back then it was just normal, wasn't it? But now I can look back and I can see that actually that was quite effective. It was, one of the nurturing the differences in the child. I mentioned in the book, and I often tell people how, when younger, I'm still a bit like that, to be honest. He hasn't gone anywhere, because again, I just think that's the temperaments I was born with, where I'm just quite passionate. It can be quite argumentative. I'm absolutely passionate about justice, about people doing the right thing. It angers my spirit when people doing the wrong thing, and it's like, better. Why are you doing the wrong thing? And when younger, obviously, that would have come across as quite argumentative, quite confrontational, and sometimes it probably still does. But what my dad used to do when I was probably about 9 years old, he got me a law book, like a really thick law book, because he was like, you're quite passionate about justice, so maybe you want to be a lawyer, and he got me a law book. So I think it's about parents looking and understanding that and respecting your child's temperaments. So whether they're argumentative, whatever it may be, whether they're talking back, whether they've got opinion on everything, it's not about changing those temperaments in them or changing those characteristics in them. It's about nurturing it. How can you nurture a child that is argumentative? My dad got me a law book. You want to be a lawyer? You like arguing everything, right? Okay, be a lawyer. Learn how lawyers behave, watch law films, look, go to court and sit there and see real life lawyers debating and, arguing a case. That is how he kind of nurtured that temperament in me. And with my older sister, she used to take people's money and like spread it in front of her and count it. On one hand, you could be like, well, was she stealing, or she just liked looking at other people's money? Well, what my dad did was he just got her like a piggy bank where she can put money in it. And that was her money that she could count. She didn't have to take other people's money to count other people's money. And now she's a chartered accountant. So it just goes to show how, when you nurture your children's temperaments, instead of you trying to change it or trying to think there's something wrong in it because it might look wrong to you, or it might just be different from the way you see things or you behave. You might be changing the temperaments and, the characteristics that God put in them. So it's not about changing it. And, parenting as effectively as possible. It's not about changing your children because they are perfect the way they are. It's just your job as a parent. And I think I made a post about this on Facebook, actually. Your job as a parent is to nurture your child, not to change them, but to nurture what they were already, the blueprint that's already in them.
So, what you talk about, I think I was listening to someone, I've forgotten who it was, and Cindy Trim, and she was saying something about a child who, when she grew up, the doctors thought she had ADHD. I mean, now they would have considered her ADHD, but at that time it wasn't, in the construct of how things worked. And then they took her to a psychologist, and the man said, "There's nothing wrong with your child. You just need to know what she likes doing." So they took her. She's moving a lot because she wants to dance. Try taking her to dancing class or ballet or something. And I think now she was one of the people who did Cats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and another dance thing that I forgot. But yeah, it's really interesting. So instead of you seeing that child, oh, they're moving a lot, there's something wrong with them, or they're doing this a lot, there's something wrong with them. Just find a way to nurture that gift. Maybe they're moving a lot because they want to dance, or they're talking a lot because they want to be a speaker.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very interesting what you're saying.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. And then imagine if her parents didn't take her to a psychologist that said, she just clearly likes to move, take her dancing, bend that energy. She definitely wouldn't be a dancer and an actress, and a massive Broadway show now.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So that's opening my eyes, okay, what can I do to nurture my children's gift? Also, how can we take care of ourselves as parents during this lockdown?
During this lockdown or any time?
Anytime. How can we?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I'm always talking about how you can't pour from an empty cup. And I wrote an article about that in today's, it's called Today's Journal. It's one of the therapist journals, therapist magazines. And it's about you knowing what your love language is. And this month is a month of love. I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but people haven't heard this because we got cut off.
It's fine.
This month is a month of love. So it's about us as parents knowing that we need to learn to love ourselves before we can love other people, before we can love our children effectively. And a lot of the time people think, no, if I love my child, then, I'm understanding what love is. Or if somebody loves me, then, I can then understand what love is. But that's really not, you have to love yourself first, regardless how much love someone puts on you, regardless how much someone tells you you're beautiful, you're amazing. If you don't believe it, and if you don't see that in yourself, it won't make any difference. You will still think you're not attractive. You still think you're not worthy. So it really starts with us loving ourselves first. So, Gary Chapman talks about how there's 5 different types of love language. So for us as parents to really love ourselves effectively, and for self-care, we have to know which love language we fall into. Which one is our own unique love language?
Yeah.
Is it gift? Is it, physical touch? Is it affirmation? Is it telling yourself you're beautiful? What really gets to you? What is your specific love language? And to also understand that, your love language might not be your child's love language, because we tend to think because we might like gift, I've spoken about this quite often, where, when my stepmom does something, instead of her apologizing, she will buy us gift. And it was like, you can just say the word sorry, just apologize. You didn't need to buy us gift, but to her, because that was her love language. So to her way of apologizing, because that's what she loves, is gift. When people give her a gift, she's like, oh my God, it's amazing. So to her, but then that wasn't mine. Mine was not a gift. Gift meant nothing to me. It was like, why just say the word? So, even from that, you can tell what my love language technically could possibly be. It's, affirmation, it's words, it's quality time. It wasn't gift. So as parents, so there was like, that you're not understanding me, you're not getting me, even though she clearly was trying, because she was trying to do what she thought was everybody's love language, because that was hers. So as parents, we need to understand what our love language is, respect it, and also know that might not be our child's, and that's okay as well. So understanding what your child's one is, so you're not enforcing, and they're not feeling like you're not understanding them, and they don't feel like you get them. Because again, that's quite important in self-care, because when our children are feeling like we don't understand them, that can put a lot of stress on us. And, part of self-care is, eliminating as much stress as possible. So, that's one of the things that this month anyways, my company, Flows and Counseling, we're sending that to all our subscribers. So if people want to join, they can join. It's for free. So just go on our page, free resources /flowsandcounseling.co.uk/free resources. And you can just, get down a weekly basis of how you can love yourself more effectively. We're giving strategic tips, strategies on how you can love yourself and what your love language might be. Because again, everyone's love language is different. So self-care is all about understanding what your love language is, respecting it, and just showing yourself love as regularly as possible.
So also, can you tell us about your book?
Yes, my book is called The Art of Disciplining with Love. So the book is got a lot of research in it, but I've done it in a way where it's in latent wordings. I think that's how they say it, where anyone can understand, even though it's quite psychological based. So I've broken it down to, teach any parent and every parent, even though I voted mostly for the Black community because of, growing up, the things that I used to hear in the Black community of, the Bible says we should spank the children. The Bible says if you don't spank them, it's, all these quotes that, I heard, and I was just like, okay, let's look at the Bible. Does the Bible really want us to spank our children? Does God really want us to beat our children? That it makes no sense. If he's meant to be a loving God, why would he want us to beat children? If he says adults should be more like children, why would they want us to beat children? It really did not make sense. So there was a lot of it that I had to, I studied Greek and Hebrew because that's actually the natural language that the Bible was written in. So I studied them and I really broke down the misconception of what people thought the Bible means and what, when they were writing it, what it actually meant. It's actually not a lot of the things that we actually think it means now. Like the word rod or staff, beat your children with staff. That, now we think of rod as, something you beat people with, but actually back then, that was not the purpose of it. As for shepherds, for example, they used to use it to guide and protect the sheep that they protected. They weren't using it to beat the sheep because, sheep are very timid. They get scared very easily. So if you're beating your sheep, they will run off and you would lose all your sheep and you would no longer have any flock. So it wasn't, so the rod and the staff that, they now think you need to, use the rod to beat your children. That was not what the Bible meant when they said use the rod to discipline your children. That's not, it didn't mean beat them. It meant to guide them, to protect them, use their rod to protect them, to guide them away from wolves, because that's what shepherds used to do. They used to use their rod and their staff to, chase away the wolves that was coming to eat their sheep. So there's a lot of things that I cannot really look at in the Black community or, in the Christian community and in the psychological part of it, of what actually happens when we discipline our children in this way or that way, and what actually goes through the children's minds, what's actually going on in their brain when we do this, and how to discipline effectively. So the book is just it's realistic tools. Again, I'm all about giving parents realistic tools that you can follow right away. The book is not too long. I've literally had people say, I read it in a day. I've read it in a week. So, it's, you can read it as quickly or as slowly as you want, or as fast as you want, and get the tools and the strategies that actually is science-based, that works. It works to really parent effectively with these things that I've put in the book. I don't know if I said this before, but I've been a psychotherapist for 15 years. So, the knowledge is really there for parents to really parent effectively. It can be difficult sometimes, but you know what? I've been doing this for 15 years. It doesn't have to be as hard as a lot of people are making it out to be. It really doesn't have to be. So that was just a bit of the book in a nutshell.
So, with the teenagers, how do you deal with teenagers? You can't smack them. You can't
smack anyone.
You can't smack, you don't have to smack anyone in this country anyway, but like, you can't tell them, do this, do this, do that. They feel like they know best. So how do you discipline them? Or it has to start from the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. You have to start disciplining children as early as possible. From when they come out the womb. Heck, from when they're inside you need to be like disciplined. When they're kicking too much and you're trying to sleep, you need to be rubbing that tummy and be like, calm down, child, calm down. It's okay, calm down. You need to start as early as possible. But going to teenagers, again, it's about understanding the temperament of that child. Because, what my dad used to do, my dad never spanked us, and I spoke about this in the book as well. But he would say things like, I'm disappointed in your behavior. And that used to be so upsetting for us, because we adored him, we respected him, and for him to be disappointed in our behavior, that was the most upsetting things ever. Our stepmom used to beat us. Like, I'll be like, beat me, just don't tell dad. So I don't want him to disappoint me. Beat me as much as you want. So it's about understanding the temperament of that child. you know, some children beat them, it makes no difference. It just toughens them up. It just be like,
yeah,
ouch, that hurt. And they're back doing exactly what they were doing before. Like, it made no difference. But, you know, words like, I'm disappointed in your behavior. I expected better from you. What happened? Because I had such high expectations. That was so destroying for me to hear from my dad. So it's about understanding the temperament of the child. And if the child is really into games and things, then you need to seize that for a period of time. Like, you know, if you haven't done your work, then I'm going to take this for you for half an hour. I'm going to take your phone for half an hour. I'm going to take this. I'm going to do. So it's about understanding what the child values, the temperaments of that child, and what is going to work without it being too harsh. You know, some parents that they do things and it's just too much. It's gone too far. You know, it's about not going too far, but going enough for the temperament of the child to correct the behavior. Because what we want to do is we want to correct the behavior. We want them to stop the negative thing that we find negative anyway. Society finds negative. We want them to stop that. But we don't want them to stop being themselves. We don't want them to stop coming to us if they need help. So it's about just understanding the temperament, what works for this child, because everyone is different, which is why, you know, it's so important for the parent coach. You know, like I said, I gave so much strategies in my book and I made it clear, these things work, but you also have to understand the temperament of your child, because some of it will absolutely work on anyone, but some will work a lot deeper on some children, like empathy. One of the things I spoke about in the book is about having empathy for what the child has done or what they're going through, and being sarcastic, a little bit sarcastic with the questioning of it. So for example, if the, you know, like I said, my sister used to take money and she's like, look at it. You know, on one hand, you could say she was stealing, she was taking people's money, she was taking, you know, where did she get that money from? On the other hand, it was, what is that about? Having that conversation with that child and respecting that child of, what were you trying to do? When you took this, what were you trying to do? What were you trying to achieve? So it's just about understanding the temperament of the child, having conversation, communication is so important in parenting, especially for teenagers, because they, like you said, they think they know it all. So you need to be talking to them on the surface of, you know it all. Okay, let's have a conversation. You tell me, you want to talk back? Okay, I'm going to give you the floor to talk. Tell me what you were thinking. Tell me why you thought that was a good thing to do. Tell me why you think that's a good behavior. Tell me, talk to me. And you know what, when you start actually approaching them on an adult to adult platform, they will start talking and they will start managing and realizing, and they will start thinking, because what we want them to do again is think before they do things, not just do things because you feel like it, think. So when we're conversing and we're having conversations with them, it's getting them to think before they do things. It's getting them to think before they answer you back. It's getting them to think before they behave a certain way, because then they're going to have to come back to have a conversation of, why did you do that? So, you know, like it's easier said than done, but it can also be easy. Like I'm always saying, it can be as easy as we want it to be. Oh, Vivian, I'm not sure what just happened. It's can you see Vivian? You know, I'm also going to look at questions on Facebook. Is there any comments on Facebook? Wow, your live video represents. No, I can't see mine. I can't see mine. It's when. Yes. Hey, sis. Thanks for joining. So I can see a couple of people have joined on Facebook. If you have any question, please do let me know. So if you have any questions you want to ask, like Vivian was asking me a few questions. If you have a few, you know, because I know that some people, Diane, for example, she is like, you know, on the way up to grandma. So there's a lot of ideas that, you know, you can be like, okay, that worked with my child or that didn't work with my child. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are and let me know what your experiences are. And also I would love to know who is joining me, because I know we started before and we had to cut off and restart again. So just let me know who is joining me and where are you joining me from. That would be fabulous. That would be amazing. I'm also going to try and get Vivian back on, because I know she was trying to connect Clubhouse and the radio together as well to get us on multiple platforms. So I'm going to see how that is going. But yes, everyone on Facebook, if you have any questions, do put them in. I would love to answer your questions. Vivian and I would love to answer your questions and go through your questions. So that would be amazing. Hey, Vivianne. Hello.
Hey, we're back again. Sorry,
Yes.
Sister Patricia was calling me, and I was trying to exit the call, and then I ended up the Zoom by accident. So sorry, you were talking about the teenagers. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's just about understanding the temperament of the child, and just, taking the minute just to calm down, because they're at the age where, you know, tension can get heated very quickly.
Yeah.
So you as a parent, you have to be the one to kind of manage that as effectively as possible.
Yeah.
They're still children. They think they're adult, but they're still children.
Yeah.
But you are actually an adult. So you have to be the one to be the adult in the situation, even when
Yeah.
they seem like they're mouthy, they seem like they're coming at you. You need to be the one to de-escalate the situation. And there's one of the tips that, I tend to give parents is connect before you correct. So it's about connect emotionally, empathize with where they're coming from. It doesn't mean agree with what they're saying or what they've done, but empathize with it. Empathize with it before you try to correct what they've done. So it's also, that's so important, especially in teenage years. It's important throughout the parenting journey, but definitely with teenagers, absolutely.
So where can people find you?
So you can find me on Facebook. I've got a group called Impact Parenting. So Facebook.com/impact parenting. You can find me on Instagram. It's floating_body, mind, and soul. And you can find me on my website at floatingcounseling.co.uk. And if you want any other free resources that I do have, you can find it on floatingcounseling.co.uk/free resources. Or you can just go inside my Instagram and there's a whole list of things that comes up and you can click what free resources and connection you want to make. So the Instagram again is floating_body, mind, and soul.
So that was it, guys. Thank you so much, Celestine, for coming on. And I know we've had certain things going on, but we got there in the end.
Yes.
We didn't give up. And also, yeah. And thank you for everyone who joined in on Clubhouse as well. Thank you, Sister Patricia, for moderating that for us. Yeah, she's on now. Thank you, Sister Patricia. So, Sister Patricia, if you'd like to ask any question before we go, so yeah, if you like, she was part of the parents that was going to join the show, but she was moderating Clubhouse for us. Thank you so much. So, if you'd like to ask any questions, if not, we're just gonna wrap it up. Okay. So this
you can try and join now if she wants. She can try and join now.
Yeah, you can join in if you want. You can send her the link if she wants to join in.
Yes. Can I send it to her? Or do you want to send it to her?
Yeah, just you send it to her.
Okay.
If she doesn't want to ask, and I can see her message in here, so she's not saying anything. If she'd like to come on, that's fine, and then we just wrap it up. Yeah. So so that was parenting plus lockdown. If you're a parent watching, you would like to ask our experts. Yes, she said send the link, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're a parent watching and you like to ask questions about your teenagers, your toddlers, your babies, how to cope with them during this lockdown, send us your questions and she will answer them for you. She's doing this for free for us. So if you like to, maximize the chance and ask a question,
exactly.
That would
jump
be
on
great.
it now. Usually I charge £150. So yes, jump on it now.
Jump on it now while she's doing it for free. Ask all your questions. So we've got 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, people are not asking questions. We're going to close the window and we're going to wrap it up. So any parents watching, if you like to leave a comment, you can leave it here and I can read it, or you can send it to us via Zoom. She's sending Sister Patricia the link now. Has she got the link?
Yes, I've sent it to her.
Yeah, so she's going to come on and ask a question. Thank you so much, Sister Patricia. You've been a blessing. And she's the parent of 6 kids. She's got 5 boys and a beautiful girl. She just got her beautiful girl, and she's now, I think, 1 month now, or Almost 2 months. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl. So yes, Zara. So I think she's joining in now. Is she joining in?
Hey, yes, she is.
Yay.
Can't see her, but she has joined. Hello.
Yeah. Can we see you, Sister Patricia, please?
Can you see me?
See her. Yes.
Yay, we can see you.
Hi. How you doing?
So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you
She's
did
the parent.
really well.
Yeah, she's the parent of 6 kids, and she's a proud mom of a beautiful daughter as well, Zara. So shout out to Zara. And yeah, so ask your question.
Yeah, so I have 6 kids as
Yeah,
Sister Vivianne
let me take my hat off, my imaginary hat off. It's like 6 kids.
Let me not take this off. So the ages range. My eldest is 16. The next one is 12, and then 11, 7, 2, and the 2-month-old. So during lockdowns, obviously everybody's got they have their different challenges, different seasons that they're in. Like for example, now my 16-year-old is he's doing GCSEs this year, and they've obviously stopped the examination, so the different way of testing them this year. And then also just that sense of isolation, because you're not able to see your friends, and just interaction with people outside, because the 12-year-old and under, they've all experienced homeschooling anyway, because at some point I've homeschooled them, but then he's the only one that has always been in the system. So for him, I know this will be a very, very challenging time as well, and so like what would you advise, when it comes to like mental health checks and all that kind of thing, like how would you deal with that?
Because everyone is different, like I keep emphasizing. So it's like some children are just quiet anyways, they're quite reserved. Some are quite outgoing, they're quite bubbly, they're quite loud, they're quite vocal. So it depends which one your child is, depends when you start to notice the difference. So if they're usually quite, reserved, and then, for example, if it's a girl, quite reserved, and all of a sudden you see they're starting to wear makeup, they want to go out, they're always talking to someone on the phone, they're just, a bit louder, a bit, so I'm like, okay, something is going on here. The same with the boy, if he's usually reserved, and all of a sudden, he's starting arguments, he's picking fight with his siblings, he's trying to start arguments with you or your spouse, he's loud, he's out downstairs arguing with neighbors or things, then you start noticing, okay, something is going on. Or if he's usually quite loud, usually quite bubbly, usually quite cheerful, and all of a sudden he's quite reserved, he doesn't want to eat, just wants to be in his room, he just wants to just be by himself, but he wasn't like that before. And then I'll start saying, start, asking questions, start being a bit of a nosy mummy, start, kind of getting in there of, are you okay? What is going on? Looking at his friends, looking at what he's doing, observing that, but definitely having that conversation with him so you're not overstepping. Because again, he's growing, he's 16, hormones could also be playing, but it could also be something else. So it's just about understanding your child's temperament and understanding and noticing when there's a change, and just observing and having that conversation and that respectful conversation with him of what is going on, and just being in a place where he knows he can trust you to not overreact regardless what he tells you that is going on. So, we definitely, as parents, we need to be careful of that, because we want them to come to us to tell us anything. But sometimes they might say something, and you'll be like, what? And it's like, you don't want to be like that, because you want them to tell you anything and everything. You want them to know you've always got their back. But there also has to be a balance of, I'm still your parent, I'm still going to check you when I need to check you, but I've always got your back, kind of thing, like a ride or die, mommy, daddy, good situation going on, but I'm still going to check you when I need to check you. So it's just about understanding the child's temperament, really. And noticing when it's, when you need to kind of step in a little bit more. I hope that answers it. That's good.
Yeah, and you know what? You made a very valid point, because I feel like in the last, let's say the last 6 years, as I came into Christ, I think my approach to them has changed as well, and I've made communication has to be key, because I know that keeping things bottled up, like I know growing up, there's certain situations maybe you don't want to express it to your parents and stuff, being in an African home. So with them, they'd come home now, you'll be like, okay, how was your day? But like, everybody will say, oh, good. That's the only answer they'll give you. So I was like, do you know what? I can't be satisfied with that just good, because otherwise I won't know what's going on with them, what's in their mind. I'd rather they're overly talkative than they're not. So I was like, okay, just tell me a bit more about that. I mean, and now I can't actually get them to be quiet, but it's still a blessing, I guess.
It's good. And that's definitely a blessing.
Yeah. So I guess in that aspect as well, I think lockdown, it is a challenge, because I don't think anybody has prepared any parent out there to deal with the situation, to like, okay, do you know what? Parenting 101, like, this is how to deal with lockdown, So we're just learning, like, we're learning as we go along. And like you said, now just being more observant and, looking for signs of this, that, and the other. So yeah, I think that's relevant, being observant and trying to watch them a bit more, seeing the changes and that. Yeah. So thank you for that.
As a mom of 6, I've got a question for you though. How do you notice, and how do now I'm putting you on the spot, the temperaments of your children, how diverse it is with the 6? I know the baby's still young, but sometimes you can still kind of pick up, the fierceness of some babies' characteristics.
Yes. So they're all different. Everybody's got a different personality, and the thing is, I've noticed that I have to deal with them individually, and the one thing I don't do is compare them, like compare one to the other, because how I handle one is not going to be how I handle the other one. One you just give them one sentence and that's all you need to do. The other one, you have to sit down and like talk for a long time before it goes in there, and you have to repeat yourselves, and it becomes tiring, but just that patience. Some of them need extreme patience, and the other one, he gets it on the spot, because the oldest 5, they're all boys, and then the last one is the girl. Wow. So yeah. So so it's just about, like, one thing you said about observing. So I've been always observing them and trying to figure out who this person is. Do you know what I mean? They might be my child, but then they're still an individual person. And you know what? Just to make life easier for me as well, because I hate shouting, because it takes a lot of energy, and it feels draining after. Like, you feel like you just ran a marathon or something. So that's one thing I don't like to do. And sometimes if I'm really, really angry, what I do, I just keep quiet and just stay on the side. I just go away and let us both cool down. Yes. And I'll just be like, because if I react in that moment, I could say something that could stay with you for life. Do you know what I mean? So what I try and do is I didn't always used to be like this. Just believe that, because trying to deal with different individuals at the same time, it's just like, oh my God, it's all at once. It's a lot. And especially in this lockdown, because last year I was pregnant, and my hormones were up and down everywhere. But at the same time, I thank God for sound mind. I thank God for sound mind. And I thank God for my husband as well, because he knew how to keep things together. Do you know what I mean? And just be like, you know what, listen, my mom, even the last year, even the toilet seat was kept down the whole time. I was so shocked, because they're the little things that used to like get me going. So I was like, the whole time I'd go there and I didn't have to clean after anybody. The walls were clean, the seat was done how it was, it was perfect. I was like, wow, like this. So they're able, because I know to say boys are different from girls. Boys are, they don't think about things as much as girls. Girls are very attentive, they think about, okay, if I maybe I'll do this to make mommy's life easier, because I was that, and we worked, because me and my sisters would talk. We were very smart about things, we know when mommy came back home from work, we'd have everything done, but they don't think like that. They just leave it. So I'm actually very grateful of how my husband deals with things as well, with the boys. So it makes my life easier. And
teamwork.
and
teamwork.
honestly, absolutely. It's teamwork.
Absolutely.
And is that, and they need to know as well that we speak the same language. That they can't go to another parent and get what they want, and so they know that we speak the same language, so they know that there's that unity, so they can't come between. So I think that's been helpful to us, to be honest. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, any parent out there, hope you guys are taking notes from the mother of 6. For goodness sake, mother, if she can do it, we can all do it. Yeah,
Anybody can.
We can.
So, anyone else on there would like to ask a question? Let's have your question, and then we can wrap it up. Is anyone online that would like to ask a question? Is it Phoebe? Phoebe's online. She said, "Great tips. Thanks for this. Good reminder. Boys are so different." I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yeah, her name is Phoebe.
Yeah. Okay, boys boys are so different though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the way their brain works. And I was doing was a guest speaker a few months ago, and we're talking about genders, the female brain and the male brain, how it's actually different. It's different. The way we process information is different, and the way we understand things is different. And I've got 2 boys, and even in nursery, they said to me, ages ago, they said to me, like my first son, he painted something and it would just look like scribbles to me. And they were like, "Oh, isn't this beautiful?" And I was like, "What is this supposed to be?" And the teacher said to me, "Oh yeah," because I saw the other girls, because there was all the girls in his class, and they looked like circles and triangles, and I could tell what that was. And I'm like, "What is this supposed to be?" And the teacher said, "Oh, their brain is different. When boys are trying to, when they're quite young, when they're trying to literally do triangles, and they can't. To them, it's just a scribble looks the same thing as a triangle to them when they try to do it themselves. So even the way they process information and they see things when they're still young, it's different. It's, male and females are really different. I'm not trying to get into this, gender, male, female are the same, and, everyone, it's different. Scientifically, we are different. Our brain function differently. We process information differently. So, yeah.
And boys are logical.
Yes.
Straight to the point.
That's true.
Whilst women we're more emotional. We think about it, and we'll think about, oh, well, how would that person feel if I said this, or Phoebe's got a question. My question is, my daughter is so attentive. You say things once, that's it. But my son tells him 20 times, and it goes out the other ear. I said to his teacher, I need to boom a psychologist assessment because I can't take it. Oh, book. Book. I think you meant book, isn't it? Yeah, book.
Yeah, book psychological assessment.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, because boys are so logical, you need to explain why to them. Until, you can say, don't put the fork like that, and they won't remember. But for example, you know how the fork is like sharp and it's like sticking up. If you say to them, put the fork upside down in the dishwasher, they're not going to remember, because you haven't told them why. They're logical. They need to know why. If you say to them, put it upside down, because if you put it like this, if somebody comes and they pick it, then their hand may be dirty and everything is now dirty. They'll be like, oh. They might just remember next time, because you've explained why to them. So with girls would try and figure out, oh, don't put it like that. And girls would stand there and be like, but why? They will try and figure out why themselves. Boys are not trying to figure out nothing. If you don't tell them, and they're going to forget, and it's not relevant to them. You need to be logical and understand that you are female, logical, emotional. They are not. They need explaining. They need, girls and boys ask why when they're children. But after a while, boys kind of stop asking why, and girls still keep asking why. And the fact is, in their minds, if you don't tell them why, it's not relevant, it's not important, they've moved on. With girls were trying to figure out the whys themselves, basically. So with boys, you have to find the why. You have to find the why. She put, so true. Yes, it's tiring. You need to find the why.
I totally
and explain the why. Yeah. You need to use the whys.
I think this was a nice session. Like we could continue all day. I feel like we should do another one like this, like on a bigger scale, get more parents in and have a nice time just chatting. And it's just, how do you deal with slowness?
Is that the boy or the girl? I'm guessing that's probably the boy. That's slow.
Yeah.
Is it the boy or the girl that's slow?
Is it the boy or girl that's slow?
It's probably the boy.
What does she mean by slow?
Again, absolutely. It definitely depends what you mean by slow. Because again,
boy. She said
girls,
boy.
Yeah,
she said boy. Yeah.
The boys. Because girls are quite logical. I mean, girls are quite emotional. They would kind of understand your temperament of how fast and slow you kind of need them to be, because they are emotional. They're kind of picking up on your vibe of what you want them and what you kind of need them to do.
You said getting them ready for school.
Oh, I would say if it's about getting them ready for school, what my husband does is he sets their clothes out the night before, and then they eat, they bath, brush their teeth, and then it's like 10 minutes to get ready. And if you're not ready, you're going to be getting ready in the car. And there is no ifs or buts. That's just literally it. Like we have 10 minutes or whatever. You're going to be walking barefoot to school. No child wants to be walking barefoot to school, but that's embarrassing for them. So guess what? They're going to do what they need to do so they're not embarrassed in school, because literally my car's driving and you better jump in that car when my car's moving, unless you ain't getting to school today and I don't really care. That's how I deal with that. That's I've got 2 boys too. Like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And I think as well with that, if like for example now, if they're doing something repetitively, just all the time the same thing, and it seems not listening to you, you see when the boys do listen is if you say, okay, food is ready, they hear, or you can have some time on your PlayStation, they hear very clearly then. And then, but then you see they have selective hearing.
Selective, yes.
If you hear, oh well, that piece of clothing has been there and everybody's walked on top of it, nobody's picked it up. Everybody's like, they don't even hear you. They didn't even hear what you said at that. You know, so they have. So like Celestine said that just have a system, like if getting your things ready the day before, you know, the night before. And just everything's prepared so that in the morning, even if they're taking their time, I don't think it means that sometimes they're not doing it on purpose. They're just relaxed. I think boys are very relaxed. They're just very relaxed. Girls are they just think about things more, I think, in general. You know, boys, they don't really the small things that we care about, they don't see it as a big thing.
Would you like to comment?
So that's
which I think is quite beautiful, actually. I think for me, it's definitely taught me to just relax, to just calm down, to just be, you know, chilled as well, because they're so chilled about everything, and their dad is so chilled about everything. And I'm like, this isn't done, and everyone's just like, calm down, just chill. It'll get like this tomorrow. And now I'm starting to be like, you know what? There is tomorrow. Okay, I mean, there's something that still needs to be done now. But I feel like boys definitely has taught me to just, you know, relax. If it's not the end of the world, let's just relax, just have fun. But I think she was talking about how he plays and gets distracted. Yeah. So when he's meant to be getting ready for school, he's playing, getting distracted. But yeah, I think it was just structure. I think again, boys, if there's structure in place, children, if they know what needs to happen when and also trying to get them to notice the time. So for example, if it's on the clock, it's like, you know, we need to definitely be out of the house at this time, let them know it and see it, so we can get to school at a certain time, let them know it and see it, then they know that, okay, even if I'm going to play, we still need to be out by a certain time because we have to. There is no ifs or buts. You know, it's just we have to do this, we have to do that. And then there's other things where you can relax with. There's a time and place for everything. I'm always saying this, you know, in my house, because again, I'm the only female in the house. Like, you know, it's the time and place for everything. And I think there's things that we can just chillax about. There's other things that, you know, we just need to do what we need to do. And it's just kind of getting them into that mindset of, you know, there's times where we can play and we can hang out, you can be slow. There's times where, you know, there's no movement around that. Yeah. I hope that was helpful, Phoebe.
Yeah, she said, yes, we do that. He has a clock.
Good. Keep pointing at it.
And then also, even if it has a clock, you have to be vocal. You know, remember, you have to be vocal. Just be like, we have 30 minutes, even if you have 1 hour left, just say we have 30 minutes till we go. They have to hear you, you know, because just because you are more observant or you're more conscious of the time, then they won't be. And as well, don't let them see you overly stressed in the morning. Like, even if they do something that annoys you, don't fight in the morning, because that can shape the whole day for both of you. So like Celestine said, there's a lot of things you should just let go, you know, just for your peace of mind and his, you know, just be like, do you know what, this is something that's been happening all the time, just let me find other ways. You can't change the way he does things now, but you change the ways you approach it, basically, to make your life easier.
Okay.
And one more thing is, I've gotten my kids used to a timer, like literally the clock timer. Let me see if I can actually grab one of it.
Sorry, yeah.
So we literally have like different timers, and it has the time on it. I also use this for timeout and, like, you know, getting them. So this one's like 30 minutes timer.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And I literally put it in front of them of, you know, you're going to watch TV or play your PlayStation or whatever for 30 minutes. When this is finished, it's finished. You know, 10 minutes timer, 3 minutes timer, 5 minutes timer. I literally have them because even though the clock is there, depending how old they are, they don't necessarily know the time. The time is different for children.
Yeah.
But then this, they can see it's finishing. They can see it's moving and, you know, getting less and less and less, or more and more and more. So those kind of things can be helpful if, you know, he's just not observing the time, even if you're vocally telling him, we've got 30 minutes, we've got 20 minutes, we've got 10 minutes, because then to him, that could mean nothing. Like, I don't know what 10 minutes is. How long is 10 minutes? How short is 10 minutes? How, you know, what is that? But then when you've got timer, they can see, oh, 10 minutes is almost over. It's almost over. It's finishing. So them physically able to see things is really important.
Yeah. I use that in schools as well when I'm working with special needs children.
Yeah,
They really respond
children,
well. Yeah,
absolutely.
they really respond well to that. So actually, I'm gonna get that at home. But
yeah,
so we're gonna I use that in schools. It's really effective. So good on Amazon, she said.
Yes, I'm going to start selling it soon, but yeah, we're not selling it yet. We're going to start selling these in April. In April. So if you need it now, go get it on Amazon, but we're going to be selling it soon in April.
Yeah, okay, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I think my husband is calling now, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up. It's been lovely. We're gonna schedule this again, maybe one time to deal with how to deal marriage and lockdown. Maybe we should do that next time.
Yes.
Marriage plus lockdown. So we'll come back with a part 2.
Yes.
Marriage and lockdown. What do you think, Sister Patricia?
No, I think it's brilliant, because I think it was a make or break for a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
So a lot of
so the next show is going to be marriage and plus lockdown. So Celestine, if you'd like to be a guest on that as well, we'll be honored. And Patricia as well will be honored, because you've been married a long time as well. So she's happily married. So yes, more women involved as well. So thank you so much, Celestine and Sister Patricia. Thank you very much. And Phoebe and Diane and everyone who joined in online. If I can't see you, it's because I can't see you. But thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And we're going to come back next week. Awesome. All right. So take care and God bless everyone. Goodbye.
Right, bye. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me and DM Vivianne or Patricia. Take care. Bye-bye.